better of my favorite daily trainer, New Balance Rebel4 or Asics Novablast4. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about my two favorite daily trainer, New Balance Rebel4 and Asics Novablast4. Which one is better? Before we start, all the opinion in this video is my own opinion. So let's start with some of the specs on the Novablast itself. For the heel here is around 40mm and the forefoot here is around 32mm. Make the shoes 8mm drop and there's no carbon fiber plate. And for my size US 11.5, I'm using 11.5 for these shoes. The weight at 275 grams, a bit heavier compared to the other version, the old version, the version 3. For New Balance Rebel4, the heel at here is 30mm and the forefoot here is 24mm. Make the shoes 6mm drop. Same, there's no carbon fiber plate as a daily trainer. For the size, this one US 11, the shoes weight at 273 grams. It's quite light compared to the Novablast4. For the price, Asics Novablast4 is 549 ringgit. Meanwhile, for the Rebel is 629 ringgit. Definitely, Asics Novablast4 are much more cheaper and much more worth every penny. Before we dive in, let's have some background on the shoes. So for these shoes, already 430km, and you can see the grip has been eaten out on this kind of area, but there's a lot of plenty of grip. Even the upper still holding really well. And bring these shoes out for short run, easy run, long run, and some of the faster run. I'm still using this pair of shoes. Meanwhile, for the Rebel, the shoes is around 100km, and you can see some of the wear and tear on the shoes itself. The shoes just around 100km. I did bring the shoes out for one long run, half marathon distance, short run, speed workout for this pair because these shoes are really light and really shine at the faster pace. Let's compare on the weight itself. For Novablast, it's around 275 grams. Meanwhile, for the Rebel is 237 grams. The shoes is way lighter from the Novablast. This is because of much more foam on the Novablast, and the foam on the Novablast are much more firmer compared to the Rebel. And even the Novablast on the upper are much more padded shoes on the upper compared to the Rebel itself. The Rebel using the Phantom Fit is like a plastic version of the upper, is much more ventilated and less cushion compared to the Novablast itself. So for the weight, definitely Rebel has the much more edge compared to the Novablast. So that's 1 point for the Rebel itself. Next one, we're going to compare about the traction. Both of the shoe has a good traction on the dry and on the wet. Both of them have a very good grip even though it's raining. When I test out both shoes, the Novablast already reached 430km, and you can see there's still plenty of grip on the shoes itself. Meanwhile, for the Rebel already around 100km, and the grip is still plenty because just 100km down the route. So for grip wise, both shoes is the same. Let's compare on the upper itself. On the upper, the Rebel using the phantom fit upper. It's more like some sort like a plastic size of the upper and minimum padding around the upper. The lace is long enough and the tongue just a bit slightly short, but the upper is very ventilated. For Novablast, the upper is ventilated but it's not as ventilated as Rebel, but it's much more stretchable and much more comfortable with the upper compared to the Rebel. The shoes has much more padding around the shoes. The lace is long enough, quite long, and the tongue are just nice and long enough compared to the Rebel. It's a very comfortable upper when you're running on it. It's not so plastic size like the Rebel. So 1 point for the upper comfort for the Novablast. The next one we're going to talk about is the midsole. The midsole form of the shoes. For the Rebel, you're using the field cell form and it's a very bouncy and soft form. You can press it and you can feel the form is very soft. One thing about this form is very responsive and very bouncy. But the downside of this form is when you try to press hard, when you land hard, you can feel some of the ground, especially the ground has some rock, anything on that, you can feel the rock itself. Even though there's around 24 or 26 millimeter on the front here, you still can feel some of the rock on the ground when you land hard enough on this form. Meanwhile, for the Asics Novablast4, the form are much more thicker, so you can see the huge chunk of foam on the back compared to the Rebel itself. The form as this one is less bouncy and less responsive compared to the Rebel, but it provides a lot of protection and really nice to run on it. The moment that I take these shoes, it's not really that nice. I'm not really like the form because of the much more hardened and not really that responsive compared to the version 3. But down the road now it's around 430 km. The form start to break down and it's really responsive. For the midsole, definitely I will give 1 point to the Rebel because of the softness, responsive of the form, even though you can see a lot of wrinkle after 100 km. The next one is durability of the shoes. As you can see, the Novablast already 450 km and the shoes since look quite okay, just a bit dirty, and the bottom of the shoe there's a lot of rubber and it doesn't seem like much more foam has been chipped off except the front part over here, and doesn't have much wrinkle on the foam, and the foam still kicking really strong. Meanwhile, for the Rebel, you can see there's a lot of wrinkle on the foam. The shoes is 100 km and you can see a lot of wrinkle. The foam starting to get squished down by me just after 100 km and some long run on it, and you can see the bottom here, some of the foam has been chipped off. This is the downside when you have a much more softer foam. The foam much more easy to break down. For the durability, definitely I will give 1 point to the Asics Novablast4. The shoes are really durable and can kick anything that I throw on it. Next, we're going to talk about the ride of the shoes. Both shoes have a different characteristic. So we start with the Rebel. The Rebel shoes is much more lighter and intend to go much more faster. I bring the shoes out for a half marathon long run, some speed walk and some shorter run. The shoes shine at when you go for a faster pace, the pace at your tempo pace, some interval or your faster run. The shoes really shine on it. But when I try to go for a long run, the shoes I feel like it's just a bit too soft when I'm going for a much more longer run, just like 21, 22, 23. When I go much more further, much more longer run, the shoes feel like a bit too soft for me on this certain type of run. But for the shorter run or faster run, these shoes shine at it. It really perform really good on it. For Novablast, the shoes are much more heavier compared to the Rebel and have much more foam on the back. I bring the shoes out for all different kind of run, up to 25 to 26 km with this pair, and the shoes really shine when I try to bring the shoes out for a much more longer distance. It's around 25 km. The shoes perform really well because of the foam are much more harder and have much more foam to protect my leg. The shoes really comfortable when you're going to a much more distance. speed for the shoes are much more lesser compared to the Rebel, even though the shoes are designed for a daily trainer, but these shoes are lean much more on daily mileage and much more on towards some LSD. So these shoes shine at that area. For me, both shoes shine at their own criteria. For this round, both shoes is draw, because this one intend much more faster, this one intend much more longer distance. So which one is better for me? Novablast4 or Rebel4? For me, Novablast4 has a much more comfortable upper and much more cushion on the form, especially going for long run. This shoes is really comfortable. For Rebel is a much more lighter shoe, much more response shoes. It lean to much more faster and speedy. For this round, definitely I'm going to choose Rebel4 as my shoe of choice. Let me down in the comment which shoes that you prefer, Rebel4 or Novablast4. So that's all, and see you guys on the next video. Bye.